Let's pretend it's the 1930s, the Great Depression is blooming and you are just a cab driver who's barely making $5 a day. Then these two thugs show up and they point their guns at you, telling you to start driving. What do? You do A. Refuse them, remaining a law-abiding citizen, but at the same time risking to get capped in the head. B. You poop, vomit and piss on yourself in hopes that they'll just steal the car and leave you alone. Or C. You help them, join them and you start stealing, punching, shooting and killing your way up the ranks in hopes that one day you will become the leader of this criminal organization. Our protagonist, Tommy Angelo, chose the last option. Welcome to Mafia Definitive Edition. Stick around if you want to see how all of this unfolds. The game starts and I'm given control. Good thing this is just a video game, because the way I'm driving we would have been bullet-filled toast sandwiches from the first right turn. I managed to eventually lose our pursuers and I drop these two at Don Salieri's place. I get a fat check and the next day I'm back at being a cab driver. My first client is an old lady who says that her husband either died in the Great War or he moved and remarried in Costa Rica.
Turn that racket off!
After that, I pick up this guy who tells me to stop talking because he's paying me to drive, not to talk. Then persists to talk the entire way about his big bank account, which must be compensation for that small penis. Tommy takes a break and out of nowhere these two appear and they vandalize his car and his face. I'm given control and I start running. Here I was supposed to get hit by this red car, but fortunately for me the devs working on the physics department weren't paid enough and the car just gently pushes me to the side. I meet with Sam and Polly from last night and they scare off my pursuers. After that they take me inside to see Don Salieri and he sends me and Polly to repay those punks by smashing some of their own cars. Polly tells me to wait a little, so that's what I do, since there's literally nothing else to do in this bar except watch this old guy fracture his neck. When the wait is over, we go and see Vinny, who gives us baseball bats and some Molotovs. After that, we go to Ralphie, who fixes us up with a car so small it can easily double as a shopping cart. We reach the place where those gangsters hang out and we sneak through the back. Polly distracts the guy who stands guard while I sneak from behind and I choke him out. But the guy falls down and starts twitching. Now I feel bad for him. Somebody should check if he's alright. We smash two cars, light the other one on fire and we make our escape. But now the cops are after us. I tried losing them by driving through this construction site but utterly failed. Fortunately for me, the cops weren't any smarter and it ultimately worked out for me. Now I'm a part of the family. You can tell I'm a gangster by the way I dress. The leather jacket, the gangster hat and the new pair of pants they gave me. I go to see Vincenzo and he gives me a revolver and he jokingly advises me to put the barrel in my mouth and to go to town on the trigger. And to that I answer, I might just fucking do that. Have you thought of that, you pizza tossing pasta rolling motherfucker? If that sounded racist, it's not, it's a stereotype. Calm down, Karen. Ralphie asks me to pretend to hijack one of our own cars and watches as I do so. Suddenly he starts to breathe heavily behind my back and I realize he really likes seeing people fiddle with car holes. Not that weird of a fetish if you ask me, I've seen worse, but still I feel molested. Me, Polly and Sam go out to collect some protection money. Our first stop is this bakery that's run by this little old lady. God damn it, these people really are scum. And after that we stop by this motel where things take a turn when Polly busts through the door with a bullet in his gut. I sneak behind the back, I choke this one guy and I find a shotgun and a bloody gunfight starts where nobody was safe, not even the furniture. Fuck you, furniture! Even shooting blindly from behind the cover proved more efficient than I anticipated. I get Sam, but our romantic reunion is interrupted by this idiota. I quickly run back to my Toyota and I drive after him. He doesn't make it far as his car breaks down. When I reach him, he looks to already be dead, but I empty one more magazine into his head just in case. The next day Salieri sends me to sabotage a race car. Ralphie tells me that a friend of his will be at the gate and will let me in. I take a car and I start driving. Whenever you enter an intersection, make sure you look to the left, look to the right and drive straight into oncoming traffic. Oh shut up, that's what brakes are for. The guy at the gate says that he will let me in only if I fondle his pee-pee stick. Real quick, Ralphie's idea of a friend is really strange. Anyways, anything for the family. I get the car and I take it out for a spin. I very carefully drive it to the other side of the town, where I take it to this car mechanic named Lucas Bertoni.
Sit tight.
Yeah bro, for real for real. He fiddles with its insides and I take it back to the garage. The next day, before the race starts, Frank tells me that our driver beat the dust last night and I'm replacing him. Look mom, I'm a professional race car driver now. Look at this fucking dumbass rolling his car on its side. I was thinking to myself as I proceed to do the exactly same thing next turn. After I win the race, at the after party, I go and pick up a very drunk Polly. I get him inside this car and I drive him back to his place where I take advantage of him. And by that I mean, I take a hot shower and I grab something to eat from his fridge. What did you think I would do? I mean, it's the 1930s. Hot water is expensive and I'm still a small growing mafia boy. I need to eat if I wanna get big. Later that night, Luigi asks me to walk Sarah, his daughter, back home. Make sure she gets there safe. Before we left, she grabbed some leftover food from the bar, so she could give it to some poor orphans. I just hope she didn't pick any of that cocaine-spiked lasagna me and the boys prepared. I mean, she cooked it, we just smeared cocaine all over it. If she did, these kids will have a very interesting night. Sarah asked for some flowers and this motherfucker just says nah. I mean yeah, good call, that's just a waste of money. They'll die in a day or two anyways. I'm joking. Calm down ladies. Some hooligans tried hitting on Sarah, so I started hitting them. Nobody's touching my virtual girlfriend, you fucking assholes. Yaha, take this, haha. After we are done with that, we go back to her place where I get to finna bust a nut. And the next day I meet with Polly in Chinatown. We enter a pawn shop and we talk with Beef, the owner. I wonder how much he's selling this one for. Beef tells us that the punks that bothered us last night hang out nearby in an abandoned gas station. We get there and we start bashing heads. It doesn't take long for a gunfight to start. This level is where Mafia Definitive Edition really shines, with these explosions and the environment that reacts to them giving us a pretty destructive spectacle. The game is already 4 years old but still feels and plays very well. Makes me really excited for the upcoming game Mafia the Old Country, which is actually a prequel to this one and takes place in Sicily, which is after the last two punks. We finished them off, or so we thought, and the next day I decided to take a break from all the shooting and killing and explore a little. I heard that there are some nice cars to be found in the game. I visit Lucas and he gives me the location of one of the cars. I go to the exact location, but there is no car there. I've been lied to. That's it, no more nice guy, you'll all pay for what you did. Apparently one of those punks from the crash survived and we gotta finish him off. Whoa, this woman has some really strong knees. Sam is sent to a funeral to pop the guy that survived, and I was sent to a brothel. I don't see how I'm helping, but I really can't complain. Apparently Tommy has some really weird kinks. He's not here to have sex since he became a gangster. The only thing that gets him aroused is threatening people with his pistol. He makes this poor girl cry and satisfied gives her money and we continue with the mission. I find the manager and I thank him for the services he provides by filling him with bullets. After that we plant an explosive in his office and Tommy almost falls to his death. I run across the rooftops while fighting the police and I end up at the funeral Sam was supposed to attend, but he's nowhere to be seen as I am left to fend off the angry gangsters by myself. But he eventually shows up last minute, acting kinda sus, not gonna lie, and we make our escape in a hearse car. The next day, I mean night, I take a drive to the countryside. Let's take a minute to appreciate how good this game looks at night, especially now, when it rains.
High winds are pushing the storm over us at quite a rate. We will, of course, keep you informed with news on the hour. But before I return you to our musical...
I meet with Polly and we take this truck, with which we're supposed to pick up a delivery of illegal alcohol, but this being the 1930s and us being gangsters means that something has to go wrong, and of course it does, as this turns out to be a setup and I don't want to be a gangster anymore. Getting into shootouts day and night must be very exhausting, so I'll be leaving at that. This is it for this video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, subscribe, leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comments, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.